Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well as we are about to end this 8-week course in Learning in a Digital World. And I want to welcome you to my hot topic presentation. The title of this presentation is Digital Tools in Urban Schools. As I was doing my research, I actually came across a book that is titled this, Digital Tools in Urban Schools. It is by Jabari Mahiri, and he is a professor of education at the University of California, Berkeley. So I found that interesting that as I was doing my research, I found this book. I have definitely not read the entire book, I have to say that, just to be transparent with you all, but I pulled out some pretty key and I think profound points from the book. And so as I go through this presentation, I'll probably be referencing this. But my name is Crystal Barber. I am a former Spanish teacher at Oklahoma Centennial Mid-High School in Oklahoma City. It's definitely an urban school. I taught for 4 years at this school, and then I accepted a position at OSU as portfolio specialist. Loved it at OSU. I started the doctorate in ed tech. Loved it, loved everything about it. But I knew there was something missing, and I missed the urban kids. I missed the urban environment, and I've been told that I may need to see someone about that just because it is maybe a crazy thing to desire to be in an urban school, but I guess that's me. So I came back and I am currently the transformation coach. And transformation means that's the school improvement model that we are following, the transformation model. And so my job is to work closely with the grant and make sure we're implementing all of the things that we said we would implement. One of those is instructional technology. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. And as we go through this, I'll be mentioning the things, from the lens of an urban school teacher, an urban school administrator. And I want to talk to you right now about why I chose this topic. So again, urban schools are a passion of mine. It's something that I didn't plan on doing when I was younger. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I've always known that. But I didn't have in mind that I would want to be in an urban setting. I don't even think I knew what that meant because the school I went to was a very suburban school in Orange County, California. Just to give you an idea, we had about 40% Asian and a 40% Asian population at my high school. So I didn't have any kind of experience with urban schools, and I came into the situation, I feel like I was not prepared. Not that I'm blaming anybody about that, but I felt very ill prepared to be a successful urban school teacher, which goes to the next point. Urban schools need highly qualified teachers who understand the needs. The needs in an urban school are very different, I would say, and I think every school type is different. Suburban needs are different, rural needs are different, but we need highly qualified teachers who understand the needs or who are willing to understand the needs, especially when we're talking about digital learning. Urban students typically have less access at home. Yes, they may have a smartphone that has access to the internet, but at home, they're probably not going to have Wi-Fi or laptops or iPads or things that might be more accessible to your suburban or rural kids, which affects how we shape our instruction and how we shape homework assignments and things like that. Keeping in mind that they don't have the same amount of access. Not that none of them do. It's just that it's not as widespread. The fourth point, most jobs in Oklahoma are in urban districts. So if you look at the numbers, the last time I saw it, Tulsa Public Schools and Oklahoma City Public Schools combined had around 33% of Oklahoma's kids. So that's a pretty large percentage. So when we're looking at preparing teacher candidates, I think it's really important to make sure that we're preparing them for all different types of environments. And most universities have that plan in place, but it's important. And lastly, tools that work in urban schools may also work in suburban, rural, and other school types. So we're not just saying that these are only tools that work in urban schools, but it's important to know the tools that do work in urban schools, if that makes any sense. So here are a few things that we know about digital learning in urban schools. The first point is from this book that I mentioned earlier, Digital Tools in Urban Schools. The learning of both students and teachers was drastically transformed by digital media. And the digital media that we're talking about here are blogs, podcasts, and other digital media. So I think it's interesting to note here that not only was the learning of students transformed, but teachers. That's a really important key point there. As teachers, we're also lifelong learners, and as we do new and innovative things in our classrooms, we're also learning. Something that we have been doing here at Centennial is we've been using Edmodo, and it's just really neat to see how the kids are interacting on Edmodo. Every time they make a post, I see what they post, and yes, it is a little bit of a social thing, but they're also talking about what they've learned in their classes. So that's a very neat tool that we're using here at Centennial. Another point that I found was on this article where they brought the game Civilization 3 into an urban school. And here on the second point, I'll read that students developed familiarity with game concepts and a deeper understanding of relationships among history, geography, economics, and politics. So there was kind of a dual purpose there. They understood the game, but they also have a deeper content understanding on these pretty complex concepts: history, geography, economics, and politics. So that's a good thing. There's this Digital Learning Day website that showcases schools. I looked at this for a little bit, and I didn't, go into depth, but I would be interested to see what urban schools are showcased on the website versus other types of schools. But anyway, it is there as a Digital Learning Day. I think I would argue here that we don't want to make Digital Learning Day just a day. We want that to be part of the school culture. And again, always reminding ourselves that technology is not the answer, but that technology integration can be a powerful tool with learning. And last but not least, digital learning can create a new kind of engagement. This statement can be said, about all types of schools, but I think engagement in urban schools is definitely a need, and we have to engage our students. We have to engage our students. Otherwise, we will lose them. Our dropout rate is higher than other types of schools. Our discipline and behavioral issues are much higher. So if we keep kids engaged, then we're able to be on the proactive end of some of those problems, and hopefully avoid those problems because they are engaged, and they're engaged in digital learning. Okay, so what we don't know. We don't know how exactly the games engage players, and I'm talking about the Civilization 3 game that I read about in this article. We don't know exactly how learning occurs with the games, but we do know that we can measure the learning. So that might be something that I might look into with my dissertation, but I'm not exactly sure yet. We don't know, and this third point is a pretty big point, but we still don't know how to reform urban schools with a one-size-fits-all approach. You hear people say, if we just got rid of, the extracurriculars, or if we just got more highly qualified teachers, or if we just got better administration, or if we, you hear all of these things, but I think the truth is that each school has a very unique set of needs, and you have to look at it as a school. And in our school, we're working on it, and we're working on improving student achievement, but it's not an easy task. It really isn't. So that is what we don't know. We don't know what digital tools don't work for urban students. Sometimes, you want to know what works, but you don't want to waste your time on what doesn't work. So I would be interested in looking at what doesn't work. And another thing I would like to know, I haven't been able to find any research on this, but what are the differences between urban students and other students' digital learning? Or is there a difference? I don't know. So that would be interesting to get some information on that. Okay, so now it's your turn. This is a different kind of assignment. I hope it's okay, but I think this is going to help me to refine some thoughts and some ideas that I have about digital learning in urban schools. So I want you all to find an image, or it could be a set of images that you feel represents the concept of digital learning in urban schools. Again, digital learning in urban schools. Provide a brief rationale of why you chose the image. Please choose a unique one from your classmates and then post the image to the discussion board. Thank you all for listening to this Hot Topic presentation, and I hope you have a wonderful remaining of the semester.